Hey traders, this is Cousin Vinny coming to you on October the 9th, Sunday, with a look at the week ahead. Note, if you haven't seen Johnny's video yet, be sure to check that out because there's some things he mentions in there about divergence and relative strength in stocks that I won't mention in this video since he already covered it. Okay? So, looking at the ES, what we've been watching all along is this level here, which is the neckline of that inverted, that head and shoulders top that we broke down from. Okay, and also the Fibonacci's that we've been writing out over the last week. Okay, before today, or before Friday, I was talking about this level here, which is the 927 high. Also said keep an eye on the 920 pivot high as well, okay, for a follow through. Notice that we got off the Tuesday low, we got that pivot, and we marched right through all of these targets that we had in the room: the 382, the 50, the 618, and the 786, which we tested on Friday. The only caveat is this doji that we got, or spinning top, at on Friday. Okay, so it shows some indecision on which way the bulls or the bears want us to go. All right. So taking that pivot high up to the 920 area, note that the 786 is still above us, okay, and that we close very close to the 618 on Friday. All right. Now going back to the pivot high back in July, before we had the breakdown through this head and shoulders top, I note that we tested the 382 level, all right, which I was fully expecting us to do. Also note that we have this trend that has been playing out, and I've been looking at this as a channel, okay, which coincides with the top of the 382, which also works with these with these pivots as well as the Fibonacci's. Okay, this upper trend line, the 618, off of this 920 high, and off of the 927 high, the 718, all converge at this trend line. Note, however, the RSI has room to continue higher. If you look at the daily, before I get to that, also note the weekly, how we closed. Okay. The weekly had a nice close in this hammer. We also had, the previous week, we had this shooting star, which I mentioned wouldn't look good if we broke down and got down below this level, obviously. RSI is turning, okay, ever so slightly. So I'd be watching this going into the week to see how this candle plays out into the week, whether we break above this or not. The other thing I want to point out is the S&P 500. Okay, if we go back to on the weekly, if we go back to the 2006 period, okay, we had this low, all right, and we had a pivot here, and we rounded the top. We had what appeared to be a head and shoulders top, okay. We broke down and we created this bear trap situation where we rallied right back up to the 50-period moving average. Notice the 50-period moving average rounded off and started heading down. We came back up, we mean reverted back up to this upper Bollinger Band. The stochastics was oversold and turned higher, and I think we're in a very similar situation. If you look at this low, we look at how we almost tested these two candles here, these lower candles, these stochastics, okay? you come to the present day, we have the same low pivot, right? We had the head and shoulders top, we broke down. We have these two candles here, the last one being a hammer. We have the stochastics still headed a little bit lower, but on the weekly, on the daily, we look like we're going to move much higher. Okay, so if you're following that, that bids us a possibility of a break higher out of this channel, which, as Johnny mentioned in his video, he's looking for maybe a move back down and stochastics to get oversold very quickly on the hourly, okay, to show some strength. But if you look at this hourly stochastics, you can already see that we're looking like we already want to start to cross over. Okay, you see that right there. Okay, so that's the daily and the weekly and the 60 on the 60 minute. I'll be watching those levels tomorrow. I'm currently in the spiders, leaning more heavily long. I have 20 of the 120s and 5 of the 113s. Now, the analysis on the weekly, I owe a credit to Philip Tigerson, who pointed this level out before this pivot and this what appeared to be going to be a breakdown here. I move back up. The reversion's my comment, but mean reversion, but it's just another way of looking at this move back up to this high and creating this bear trap here. Okay, I think we're creating a similar situation here. I agree with Philip, and I think we're going to move higher before we move back down lower. Okay, so if you look at 2006, we did eventually come back down, okay, and break down the 2007, 2008 lows before we hit March and we took off, right? So that's what I'm looking at for the week going into the 10th, all right? So I'll be trading the spiders. I'll also be looking at Hansen, another one of those stocks that on the weekly has had quite an uptrend. If you follow me and you follow Business Daily, the analysis of the 10-period moving average, that's where a lot of mutual funds and hedge funds buy and sell, right? And we're staying above this trend line. We're moving higher. I'd expect to see the stochastics turn back up. We did have some selling the past 3 weeks, but I think that's due for some mean reversion, okay, and a move higher on Hansen. So I'll be looking at Hansen. I do have Freeport McMoran, which if you look at the copper charts, copper had quite a move down on the daily, and I'm looking for some mean reversion here, okay, continue mean reversion up, maybe up to the 50-period moving average, okay, which would be the 42 level, which also, if you look at the Fibonacci's on FCX, alright, which I've already drawn in here from that high, the 42 area, 42 area and 50-period moving average is a level of a retest of the 618, which also coincides with a shoulder, a head here, okay, and a possibility of another shoulder here. Alright, so that's what I'm watching on FCX. I'm watching Hansen, and I'm also trading the spiders. This is Cousin Vinny coming to you from Day Trading Radio. Come and check us out for a two-week free trial. And remember to check out Johnny's video, which I pointed out earlier on in this particular video with the link right here. Okay, take care, and we'll see you in the room.